Thank you for joining us for our final and interesting segment this morning. I want to say
Kevin
it's
is all riled up for this one, right?
Well, I'm a sports aficionado. As a short guy, I always admire the talent, and I'm also a patriot. So this hits all my bills in one whistle. But we have with us this morning, joining us, the coach of the Belize national team, Milton Palacio. We also have with us Devin Daly, top 2 players in the country right now. Devin, we get to that.
Yeah.
And we also have a legacy of Kirk Smith Jr., who's a member of the national basketball team. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. All right, apologies for skipping your morning workout, huh?
No, we do. We still have it.
Okay.
10 o'clock. 10
Okay.
o'clock, so we're okay.
2 days.
There's your insight to what type of coach he is.
Yeah, so we're about to, I read somewhere that this is the first we've been, but we were talking that it probably wasn't, because I remember we were points off qualifying a few years when you were part of probably the dream team.
That probably was the redeem team. So, the dream team is always going to be 98. I mean, we got to,
The Caricom game.
Yes,
Yep.
we won
Still
gold.
remember.
So, yeah, of course. So we won gold, so that's going to always be the dream team, our dream team.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were a couple points off out of Dominican Republic, and that was to qualify for Argentina, and that would have been a pretty big, tournament for us. But it's good now that I think we're right back at it. I think, this circumstance that a team dropped out, Costa Rica dropped out, I think. So now we have the facility and we have the, the players to fill a team, and now we're trying to qualify.
How do you feel about we're looking at the way basketball has developed, because the national team is really just the pinnacle of the structure and talent pool that's in Belize. What do you feel about the progress from when you were playing to looking at somebody that you played with, son?
Yeah.
It's like Bronny Jr. here playing with you here. What do you feel about the development of the talent pool?
I think the development is great because back when, like now coming out here, you hear so many guys playing in the States, playing in colleges, that are Belizean guys, and it's tough to get, trying to get passports and things like that to get them over here. Back when I was playing in '98, I think it was about 7 or 8 of us.
Yeah.
I mean, myself, Kirk and Mo, Simplis, and those guys like that. So the talent here is crazy. The pool of talent is developing in a good way. I went to this past weekend. I watched both games, the Hurricane game, and
Good game.
I went down to Griga.
Excellent game. Yeah.
I went down to Griga and watched that game, and it's unbelievable how much talent we have, and it's fun. I mean, these guys love it. And, they play in front of crowds, and it's good. It's good. I don't
They
think it
have
was
no idea what it used to be like, don't they?
no, not in the old Civic. Not in the old Civic.
Yeah, but I keep on hearing you say talent, and I think we've always known we've had talent. We've always talked about how we have this raw talent that really needed to be refined and needed to be disciplined. How are we doing on that end?
That's a good one. I think coming in from the last games, and I was talking to Deb about this, I was a little tough on those guys. And for me, it was just because I just wanted, because I've always known, we have that Belize time, we say 10 o'clock, we show up 10:30, things like that. And for me, I was just trying to be very, very disciplined on these guys, very hard on these guys for discipline, because it's not like that around the world. As Devin knows, and as Kirk knows, once they say what time is it, you should be there 20, 30 minutes before, or you're going to get, practice is going to start. So I think we're working on that. I think guys know now that I'm kind of a no-nonsense, I don't deal with if you come in late, I'm starting, it doesn't matter, maybe you can jump in. But I just think that we just have to keep doing that, as a country and as coaches, to hold these guys accountable.
I want to ask, what, and from a coaching standpoint and ex-player and somebody who's played international, played on the biggest stage, what will it take for Belize to get to the next level? Because I was asking you as well, I remember on the last selection, Keith Acosta made it. And, you're looking at the way that talent goes.
Yeah.
It's really the young guys coming up, even in the NBA right now, look at who's coming up.
Yeah.
So could you address?
For me, I think it's just, like I said, I think it's a lot of guys that are here in Belize, are in the country, that sometimes they get a little intimidated by going out or coming out for the national team. And I think they shouldn't be. And I think you have to, it's this big stigma that Milt already knows who he has, who he wants, the team is already picked. And that's not true, because we have a guy named Rebel who, when he walked in the gym, I had no clue who he was. And just kind of watching him, I was like, he's not going to make this team. And he just came to practice every single day, came early, stayed with it. And they can tell you, he was, at the end, he was probably one of our best bigs. Yep. And he just wanted to learn. He wanted to keep learning. And I applaud that. For me, I made it the hard way, so I can appreciate guys doing it the hard way. I mean, a lot of people say, okay, well, Milt, you made it to the NBA, blah, 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 but it wasn't like that. You know, I had to bust my butt.
They never know the hard work that goes in.
No.
Can you just tell us a bit more about the selection process, though? Because you were saying during the break, and I think that is important, that some good players don't even try out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate, because I think a lot of kids nowadays, I think, it's not like when I played. You know, when you get cut, it's like, okay, you know what, I got to get in this gym, get better. Now with social media, your friend said this, somebody put a post up with this, somebody said, so now a lot of these kids are scared to fail or get cut. But my thing, that should be, you know, for me, innovation to say, you know what, okay, I didn't make it, but I was close, and let me go work on myself, let me go work on my game. So I just think that that's one sad thing about, you know, being out here, is that we have a lot of talented guys, but they won't come out, and they'll tell you. Sometimes we have 12, 13 guys come to work out, so if we say it's an open tryout, guys are like, they have the team picked. But these guys will tell you, if I see somebody coming to the gym every single day, on time, working his butt off, you're going to have a chance to make it.
Yep.
So tell me why you guys decided to try out. And Devin, I know you like to reject any title, so when Kevin, you rolled your eyes. But, you know, tell me why you made the decision that you wanted to represent the country on the national team.
I mean, what better chance to learn from somebody that, you know, like you both said, played at the highest level, you know, the knowledge of Milt have, and also to, you know, represent the country. I feel like there's no better feeling to play in front of the Belizean fans and get on a chance for bring unite Belize back again, especially in the times right now where we have so much social divide.
Yeah.
For me, it's more of a family thing. You know, my dad played, my mom was on me about playing. They called me saying that they wanted me to come out, so I was like, you know, it's a extreme opportunities to come out and play for the country. I know that's like a huge thing, so I really want to be a part of something special.
So how do you feel about making the team? I mean, did you have any doubts that you were going to make the team?
As far as I know, the team's not picked yet.
No.
Yep. So this is still a process and all that, you know. They randomly selected us both to come out here and, you know, try and promote the game. So right now we're still, you know, in practices and trying to get after it.
But is that a difficult thing, Coach? Because you'd want your roster set. You have days before a major international competition against some solid opposition. Wouldn't you have wanted your roster to already have chemistry, to have your rotations on and that kind of thing already?
Well, during practice, I do that a lot. I put some of the guys that I can kind of see who can play well together, who's been there before.
Yeah.
So it's not that tough. I mean, a lot of people always say, well, I mean, you have to understand that this segment, we have these 5-6 days that the whole world is going through. I mean, I have a guy, you know, me coaching with the Brooklyn Nets. I have a guy on my team who's playing with Australia right now. They just started practice yesterday. So it's not that tough, but we understand the circumstances that we have that short of a. So like I said, right now, seeing these guys past couple of days, I kind of have a feel of who's going to be on there.
When are we going to know?
We're going to know probably tomorrow. Tonight is going to be the cuts tonight. So we'll know tomorrow.
You would say that there's a difference between our players, particularly local ones, and the people who are playing for the Brooklyn Nets, because those are professionals. They have their own system, their own coaches, their own, and so they already understand the system. You plug them in, it's like professional. They can just slide up. We're a little bit different.
Yeah.
Our guys aren't on that level. So wouldn't that create a challenge?
It does create a challenge, but I want to give those guys a taste of how things are going to be and them to think big. For me, I think a lot of guys feel like, and it's no disrespect to the NEBL, but a lot of guys feel like the NEBL is their top pinnacle, which is not, I think. And I think you have a lot of guys who can play over in Europe, play higher, can get higher. Like, I always thought that way because, you know, I wasn't drafted. And you know, a lot of people say you'll play in Europe after you finish college and you'll be a decent player. And I didn't let nobody hold me back and say it. I mean, think that way, you know, and I shot bigger. So I think for these guys, it's just, you know, reaching for the stars, and you know, we have the talent.
Can I ask you this in terms of, Belize is a funny place. Right? We eat our heroes. We eat them.
Yeah.
Criticism is always high. I'm sure you've received a lot of criticism for your stint as coach.
Yes.
how do you approach that to know that your heart is in the right place, but at the same time looking at what constructively they are saying about you and being able to produce what Belizeans want, which is a measure of success?
Yeah. For me, I don't listen to social media. I don't really care. I've never cared about that. I've always heard it coming up. You know, I feel like this is easy for me because the journey that I had, you know, people are saying he's too slow, he's this, he's that, he's that. And then I laugh and say, guess what? I'm in an elite group of 5,000 players that's ever made the NBA. So to me, what people say doesn't matter.
Yeah.
People will, whether you're good or you're bad, people will always have something to say. And I know that, and that's what I tell these guys all the time. I mean, even when we lost in Costa Rica, I told them, you know, right after the game, I said, listen, they're gonna probably bash you on internet and blah, 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 but they can't walk a mile in your shoes. Even a step in your shoes. You guys came out, played hard.
You're too big anyway.
Represent,
15s, 14s, or whatever.
you know, and represented your country, so you can't put your head down. I think you gotta hold your head high, and there's always gonna be another tournament. So for me, like the criticism, I love it, I listen to it, I laugh, but I know nobody who's criticizing will ever switch shoes with me because they can't handle it.
Now, here's what happens, or what we see happen very often. We have an international tournament coming up, and at the very last minute, everybody rallies behind the team and have the highest expectations, even though it's been 1 week of practice and just met them yesterday. This is supposed to be different, but I got to put a very important context here. The last time Belize had an international tournament hosted at the Civic Center, it was a girls volleyball team, and they were showstoppers.
Yep.
So I'm just saying that you guys,
Yep. Big shoes to fill.
You got
And they're high
big
heels.
shoes to fill,
high
right?
heels.
They may not be size 16, 15, but those are big. They packed that Civic, and they made us proud.
Yeah.
I mean, no pressure, right? But so tell me how you feel about that. What kind of expectations should we be having?
I think the biggest expectations you guys should have is just us coming out, playing together, playing hard, and trying our best to execute the game plan. I know it might sound political if I say it like that, but honestly, that's all we could really control. We could control, you know, getting back on defense, you know, trying our best to get the rebounds. We might be outsized, we might be, you know, outnumbered, but, you know, if we stick to what the coach they try, you know, teach we on the game plan, I think we should be fine.
It sounds conservative. I mean, me over here as a fan is thinking, but we're gonna tear off them by the head. You know what I'm saying?
Have you
That's who I
interviewed
am.
Devin before? He'll never talk smack. Tell us, Kirk.
But the game has. You wanted to?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, us as a Belize team coming together, playing together for the first time, so like us connecting as a unit would be probably one of the expectations. Like, just different guys coming together, never seen each other before, playing together. It's kind of like as a unit in practice, like we just practice playing team basketball. So that's something that you guys could probably expect.
You know, the international game has changed. I'm looking at analytics and looking at what the 3-point shot is, and I can only use the reference point that I'm a avid fan of the game. So I can only assess it from the NEBL. I haven't seen the new talent that we've brought in, but shooting in Belize is not necessarily a premium. I don't really see, except for there's a guy from San Pedro who to me is a knockdown shooter, Devayo, I forget what his name is, a red-skin guy. But apart from that, I don't see a lot of shooting. And the 3-point shot, if you make 50% of them, you outscore somebody who scores 70% of their twos. What is your strategy going in to deal with some of that? Because the international game, they will come with an international strategy. They're not playing against Belize.
Yes.
They're playing against America.
Yes. It's funny because we shoot a lot of threes in practice, and now these guys, they've seen that. And I think it's a little different for them now because I've gotten the experience of coaching in the NBA, which is we shoot threes or layups.
Yeah.
And that's what no mid-range, no twos. They don't understand the numbers behind it. I'm starting to understand the numbers behind it. So, and I think yesterday I said in practice, like if a guy pulls up for a 2-point shot, we're okay with that. And they probably looked at me like, what the hell is he talking about? But that's how we coach it now, and that's how they're coaching it now with the analytics coming in. So it's good, and these guys will tell you now we're shooting threes every day. We try to get as much, I had them trying to make as much as 50 a day, maybe 100 a day, so they can just get comfortable with shooting the ball, because that's where the NBA is going. It's not like back in my days when it was more jump shots and post up men who can play. So,
but can you do it under pressure?
That's the biggest thing, and that's one thing that I love that you asked that too. So you have to ask these guys.
Couple days will tell.
Couple days will tell.
Couple days will tell.
Now, I always ask this question to national teams, because it's a unique experience that many people will have. What is it like putting on a Belize jersey and representing not a brand, not a separate team, but your country? What is that like?
Undescribable feeling. That's why I usually say I prefer to play on teams that have no names on the back. So you just have your number and you have the team logo in front. And for this specific jersey, it's gonna have Belize in front. So you to play for Belize instead of yourself. So whether or not you hit 1 point, or you get 1 rebound, or you make an assist, you to represent whether a front of your jersey, rightfully on your heart, your chest. So that's just kind of how I play the game and how I think about it, is that this bucket is not for me or for him or for the coach, that's for Belize. One step forward, getting that world recognition where, we deserve to be.
I'll poke the bear. I was talking to a friend of mine who is a sports analyst, and he said, man, Devin, my favorite player, man. I just think that he's amazing. He said, but you move back home, and you're eating Belizean food now, and you're falling into Belizean habits.
For sure.
For sure. And he was saying that it was a bad thing, so that he was concerned that even your hunger and your perspective, because you came from an international standard, you were playing up here, but now you come back home and then you just fitting in with the guys. Is it something that you can switch on and switch off, so that you can say, listen, this is the world station. It's not NATL. I'm not playing against Verdes, or I'm not playing against Orange Wall, the Rebels. I'm playing against somebody who probably in the next few years is going to be playing against Trae Young. Can you switch it on and switch it off? And what can we expect from Devin Daly on this weekend?
I think a part of having that college experience and that professional experience for the 2 years in Denmark, I know what it takes to get my body to a certain level for perform a type of way. And similar to what, Milt said, you always have the murmuring of the public and, all of that about what you're doing, what
It's
you're
part of
not
the energy,
doing.
man.
Yeah,
There'll be no
course.
sports shows on
course.
ESPN in the morning, no first take.
Of course.
That's true.
Of course. So I think with that experience and knowing what it takes for my body to get there, I think I'll be all right. And, once again, you guys could just expect that, I'll be 100% effort every play. And, of course, I'll win.
What is a numerical success?
Say it again?
What is a numerical success? We have 3 games.
A numerical. Before that, can you tell me size of the competition for me? What are we
Okay,
looking at?
Antigua, they're a pretty good team. I think that we're going to start off with them. Watching them on film, they're a team that wants to slow the ball down, so we're going to have to run a little bit. Cuba's a pretty big team. They're going to come in here 6'10", 6'11". Like I told these guys, the bigger they are, the slower they are. So I'm not really worried about that.
That doesn't work for Giannis.
Huh? Well, Giannis is not slow, so he's a different freak. And I think for me, I think Bahamas is going to be the biggest challenge for me. I know people keep looking at Cuba, but I think Bahamas, they have a pretty good team. Watching them on film also, they have some guys that can play a little bit. And like I said, and like Dev said, it's going to be game planning. It's been a couple sleepless nights because I've been watching a lot of film and trying to break these guys down. So it's going to be fun. I think we're going to accept the challenge, and that's just what we're going to do.
Are we outranked here in this lineup?
Outranked?
Yeah.
No way. No way are we outranked. I think talent-wise, I think we probably have the most talent. It's just going to be, from watching these guys play, I think we have the most talent, but it's just going to be how we put it together, as a team, and how we come together and playing for each other. And I tell these guys all the time, they have the same amount of time getting together that we do, so we can't sit here and say, well, they had months. They haven't.
When you have your sleepless nights, what is the biggest concern you have about having the team ready for this weekend?
I think it's just understanding personnel, understanding who they're playing against. I thought that against Costa Rica and El Salvador, we didn't look at a guy of saying, okay, he can't shoot, so let's let him shoot, or he can shoot, let's get up on him. I think that's one big thing that I saw in the Hurricanes game and in the Griga game, that guys are guarding people who couldn't shoot. so close. And I'm like, why would you do that? So
Wasted energy?
yeah, and we want him to shoot, and we don't want this person to shoot. And it's just, I think that was one big thing that I saw during these games is just knowing your opponent. And I think every single day, you know, I come in here, I come and practice with these guys, and I'm saying, listen, he's not a shooter, he is a shooter. We have to know, because come fourth quarter, 3 minutes down in the game, this is gonna take place where we have to know who we're playing against.
They've been watching tape on us. What do you think their game plan is, and where do you think that they will try to pick us apart?
Big thing, I think they'll zone us, knowing that, you know, Belize has a stigma of can't shoot, so they'll try to zone us, and that's why we're gonna work on our outside shooting. And I think they know that a lot of Belizeans love to go to their right hand, so they'll try to force his left, which they try to do Coupe in the Costa Rica game, make him go more to his left hand. I think that'll be more the game plan for them, and they'll try not to let us run because they know we want to run. We have our athletes, and we're a lot faster than they are, so they'll try to keep us out of transition. But that's going to be tough. Once we can get a stop, get out and run, we'll be fine.
Now, being out on the court, what do you see so far in your team practices is your strength?
I think a lot of unselfish basketball. I think that's our biggest strength right now. I mean, for the mere fact that the team isn't picked yet, and guys are still showing up to practices and giving that 100% effort, even if they may or may not make the team, they're just trying their best to make their teammate better every day. I think that's our biggest strength. So it might come down to it whereby a guy might score a shot off a hockey assist, 2, 3, 4 passes down the stretch, and then we're always giving up a good shot for an even better shot or a great shot. So I think if we stick to that type of basketball, we'll be fine.
Do you, Kirk?
I think it's energy. Like, regardless of talent, like, there's a lot of talent on the team, but everyone tries hard. Like, from the best player to the worst player, everyone's trying to go for rebounds. Everyone's like trying and giving it their all. So, regardless with coach leading us like into the team plan, I feel like everyone's going to give 100% effort, and everyone's going to try hard and really get at it.
It's always easier to win with 6 players on the court. There are certain facilities you go in that the crowd is that 6th guy. You can't even hear calling out plays. Basketball is communication on the floor. I mean, I can remember the Kings facility. You couldn't even hear them. The cowbells were just going off. Marlene was talking about what the female volleyball, national volleyball, did for us. I mean, I'm still on a high from it. What can the average Belizean Patriot fan do to support our team, to get you guys over the hump? Because we have a role to play too. We're not just buying tickets.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that question is for them, because I mean
I never played.
I think first of all, just showing up. Showing up. I think people, playing basketball, just seeing sometimes numbers, a facility, is sometimes intimidating for people. So first, let's show up and then just get engaged with the game. Cheer for your favorite player, cheer for your Belize, of course, won't have to be their favorite team, and just go from there.
Yeah.
All right. So when do tickets go on sale?
tickets are on sale right now.
All right.
From what I heard, tickets are on sale, and everybody should just get a ticket and come out and I think they'll enjoy it. I think this time around it'll be a little different. For me, I say that because I think these guys kind of know who I am now and who. I mean, somebody said the other day, like, well, some of these guys are a little nervous playing in front of you and blah blah blah. But I said, it's tough because I did have a standard of how hard and how well I wanted them to play, and I was trying to force that on them because of my competitiveness. But I think this time is pretty good. I think it's
Wait, so you're softer this time around?
I think I am a little softer.
Is that good or bad?
I was telling Deb.
Is he softer this time around?
I think he's just a little more relaxed.
That is softer.
Yeah. I think. Go ahead.
One of the things I was asking is, you look at the price of tickets, it's $50 for courtside, and I think it's $10 for general. And one of the things, and I'm going back to this reference because to me it sets a standard. One of the things that the female volleyball national team did was they actually released a number of tickets. I think it was 1,000 tickets they did. Mm-hmm. But it really added to the whole energy. You had kids out there,
Yes.
And so I don't know where we are in terms of probably lobbying for some of the youths to be able to be out there. It's energy, it's recruitment for the following year. Where are we in terms of just getting that place filled, not looking at prices, the 25 or the 50, but just knowing we're building for the future?
Yeah. I think that's a great one. I mean, that's a great question. I think that the Belize Federation has to take a page out of what volleyball did to get the fans in there, and if that's the releasing 1,000 tickets of what they did, I think we have to do the exact same thing, because I think we have to pack that. I think somebody sent me a video of the volleyball, and it's like,
Oh, you have no
yeah,
idea.
and it was like, it's crazy in here.
Yeah.
They said it was crazy in there, and I said it was a beautiful thing. So
Yeah.
I think if they, you got to take a page out of their book and keep doing that. For me, I don't know, I don't deal with that.
Yeah, focus on the court.
understand.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So for me, it's not.
Don't be
but-
too relaxed this
yeah,
weekend,
yeah.
right?
No, I'm not. Don't believe I'm never relaxed. I've never. They know this, but I just think for more, I just try to relax them,
Yeah.
because I think I was a little tough on them and a little, listen, you're playing for your country. This is a big game. This is a huge game. And coming from me, it kind of felt like they were like, well, shit, sorry that we have to, kind of, represent our coach.
So now you're just meeting them where they are, but you're still pushing them.
I'm going to
Okay.
push them all the
Can
time.
I ask you one final question? The last Belizean NBA star we saw get into the league is you. When will we see another Belizean, and who, if you were to guess right now, do you think it would be?
That's tough. I think we will soon. I think we have a lot of young kids like Kirk Smith and a lot of guys that are coming up and that can take over the reins from where I left off, and hopefully it rubs off on them. I really feel Devin has a really good opportunity to, like you said, once that hunger gets back in, and when he gets back in and doing what he has to do, that's one thing. Like I said, I always tell a lot of guys, it's funny because now I'm coaching with the Brooklyn Nets, and my GM said, listen, when you get out there, I don't care what team it is, I want to find a diamond in the rough. So I think for these kids, they should be, so, excited to come out and play. And for me, it's one phone call away to say, hey, listen, invite this kid. So
Bring Devin.
Every game is an opportunity for recruitment, especially with technology now, right?
yes,
Yeah?
yes.
All right.
Guys, we're looking forward to it. The first game is this Friday, and it's at 6 p.m. The Belize game is at 8:30 p.m. Of course, you have the schedule there on the screen. Get your tickets, come on out, show your support, buy your Belize gear, and let's represent well. Thank you so much.
Let's win.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take our final break, and we will be back in a few, so stay tuned.